Hello and welcome back to CASCA's podcast, Shorts with Schwartz. I'm joined today by an individual by the name of Nick Bockmann. You've heard from him, you've met him, but we're going to get to know him a little bit better today. Nick and his wife run the FAWKS company, which formerly was run by Tom Simpleman and Don Campbell, who were longtime supporters of the organization and were frankly Casca's resource when it came to pharmaceutical issues and regulation. We have the pleasure of speaking today with Nick, not only about issues within our industry and areas of focus, but learning about the passions of the whys. Why did he get into this industry? Why do him and his wife run this company? Why do they choose to run this company? And I'll even go into what they're most excited about when it comes to engaging with our membership. At this time, I do want to welcome Nick to the podcast, and we're really excited about the incoming year of 2024. I know that Nick is excited to talk to you about who he is, what he does, and at this point, I just want to hand it over to Nick to give you a little bit of background about who he is and what he does.
Thank you for the intro, Simon. Hello, everybody. Again, my name is Nick Bockmann. I am the consultant pharmacist co-owner of the FAWKS Company. The FAWKS Company aligns with CASCA's mission and has been a proud supporter for over a decade. We have a passion for what we do in the facilities we serve. When Tom with the FAWKS Company, as Simon mentioned, was looking to retire, I was ready to step up to the plate and implement and build on what Tom taught me. The facilities we service are top notch with high integrity and a true example of the way things should be done. We enjoy taking accountability for all things pharmacy related. When inspectors come up, I want you to feel confident your facility is doing a great job. You have your ducks in a row, you pass inspections with flying colors. I will be the phone call away if any questions arise.
So, Nick, here's my question, and I apologize if I sound like I'm far away. We're working with the technology we have, but you mentioned in your comments accountability. I think when we talk about surgery centers and when we talk about healthcare, accountability, liability, these are big words. These are big words for administrators. These are big words for the physicians. These are big words for their lawyers. Uh, can you talk to me a little bit about where accountability plays a role in what you do and how you do because of your role working within these facilities and with these centers?
Yeah, yeah. This was a big thing with Tom. This was a big thing with Tom because of you. He uses the term shares the risk. A facility that has controlled substances on site, inevitably, and has their own DEA license. When you have your own facility DEA license, you get to share the risk of those controlled substances with the consultant pharmacist on site. The consultant pharmacist, if they're a good consultant pharmacist, can take ownership of all of those medications on site, the use of them, the storage of them, accountability, and ensuring DEA compliance.
So that's really nice to hear that you can share the accountability and the liability. But at the end of the day, what does that do to impact the business? How is that and I'll speak to hiring third parties, right? You're going to be spending money if a facility decides to hire somebody like you, you're spending money for a third party, right? To
Right.
come in and assist. So talk to me a little bit more about the DEA license, because that is something that an ASC can do, but where's the benefit and why, more than you're a nice guy, you're obviously fairly easy to deal with. What's the benefit in working with a company like yours, and what's the benefit in the relationships that you have and your experience in engaging with the DEA and these in compliance?
Yeah. Um, Bottom line here is trying to take the headache out of compliance, whether it's DEA compliance, whether it's accreditation, anything that's related to all things pharmacy. Um, I'm there to provide that for you. And any good consultant pharmacist is. And again, any good consultant pharmacist should want to take ownership in all things pharmacy on site and be available off site too, which is something that folks usually forget about that. We don't come in for 2 hours, 3 hours a quarter or a month, and then we're done. We're available to you text, phone calls, emails with any questions you have. And I couldn't even name all the questions that I've gotten since I've just started doing this.
So you mentioned we, and I think it's important. You know, if you can hear the little nails in the background, you hear my dog running around. So apologize. We are recording as we go. Um, I want to bring up we because myself, we're a partnership. Chris Goggin is the executive director, myself as the associate director. We've got Mallory. Talk to me a little bit about your business. We knew Tom and Don very well, and we've gotten to start to get to know you and your wife. But walk us through who you are, who you both are, and again, your team, your company. It's a family business. Walk us through that a little bit.
Yeah. I got started in nursing homes before this as a consultant pharmacist for 10 years. Learned about ASCs through Tom, and the rest is history. Um, I find that the folks that are in ASCs, the nurses especially, are happier. The work life balance is better. I feel like just the satisfaction level of me personally is higher in a place where folks seem to care a lot more. They're not as burnt out, from what I can tell. Uh, so that's how I got my start. I'm first a pharmacist, um, a consultant. I feel like when I use the word consultant, folks wonder if I'm even employed. A consultant is essentially an expert. I hesitate to use that term because I'm a lifelong learner, got a growth mindset, but a consultant is somebody that you can come to questions with and they're supposed to provide you with answers. So that's my job in the business, is to go to other facilities and create less headaches, provide answers to things, again, all things pharmacy, be an advocate for those facilities. My wife's job on the other side is to do all of that back end stuff. She did the website. She's a full time mom. We have three boys, um, and that's how the business runs. So it's a small mom and pop shop.
But you can take on a lot of business though.
Yes.
So that's good to know.
Yep.
I'd love to hit on a little bit more the DEA license and how to obtain one. You and I have talked a little bit. I shouldn't say a little bit. We've talked a significant amount about not only the importance of obtaining one, but whether you're a facility that's part of a network or you're a physician-run surgery center, regardless of kind of how the ownership makeup is, this is a license that allows you to operate as efficient as possible and within the regulations. Walk me through a little bit more uh, your thoughts related to the why facilities would want to transition, more than just the liability, because I think we operate ASCs. I think I want to say that like ASCs were developed with the fear because most big hospital organizations, you have infection, you have all these things. So surgery centers were built to avoid all of those issues and really be specific about the cases that they're handling. Would you say that that's kind of a similar energy when it comes to obtaining that DEA license?
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that exactly. The big thing here is there is no interruption in your schedule. So once you decide to obtain your DEA license, this is completely run by the consultant pharmacist with the help of you, of a couple of lines you need to fill out. But essentially, the whole process runs without interruption. In the background, you start obtaining your DEA license. Once you obtain it within 2 months, you transfer the medications you bought with your medical director's license to your facility DEA license that lives and dies with that facility, and that medical director and all that liability goes away. Then, anytime you switch medical directors up, they leave, or anything else, nothing changes with your medications or your DEA license. So, again, the big thing here, though, is the sharing of the risk. That facility, that medical director, if they're operating under that medical director's license, is responsible for those controlled substances on site all the time. And a lot of times they don't know it. So when a facility obtains their own DE license, it just makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it seems kind of like you're leaving your rear end exposed.
Yep.
And if we're talking about surgery centers viewing ourselves as the best of the best, it seems like this is a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
So walk me through as we're kind of closing out this conversation. I'd love to hear how you intend to engage with CASCA, our members, and knowing that these podcasts, we utilize social media, we utilize LinkedIn. There may be folks that are listening that aren't from Colorado. There may be folks, as you know, we're associated with the Pacific Northwest and we're engaged with the National Association. Uh, Knowing that the marketplace may reach out to you, what's one last thing you would say related to yourself? And I know you said as a consultant, you know, there's that label of being an expert, but you're a continual learner. What if people reach out to you and have questions? Like what would be one of those things, knowing that we have listeners from all over the country? Uh, would you say your focus today is the DEA license, and then the secondary? What's the focus for the next year in Colorado? We're excited to have you present at the conference that we'll be having at the Denver Marriott West this coming June. We're excited to do more of these conversations, but is there anything, I think, at the immediate time outside of the DEA license that you think that ASC um, staff, operators, administrators, physicians, is there anything else you think they should know?
Yeah, I think the important part here is just knowing that if you do deal with a third party who comes in, they're acting as an advocate for you, a second set of eyes, and they're going to basically take the information and filter it into something that's usable. I'm constantly having conversations with ASCs in 30 seconds because that's what they have time for to discuss high level things like USP 800 and their new revisions that came out in November, or the 797 revisions that came out in November. They just want to know, what do I got to do, Nick? And how are you gonna make this easy for me? They want to push the easy button, and I got to distill it down to something that we can actually do instead of giving them 20 pages of work. So that's my job, is to help them push the easy button.
Love to hear that. And then something not business related at all, but we're at the beginning of the new year. Obviously, I think all of us as small business owners and administrators of facilities that are running small businesses all wish for business to go well, happiness and health, and all of those things. What are some of the things you're looking forward to in 2024 that don't fall into those categories?
Oh, I'm working on myself this year. This is a great kickoff to, again, my growth mindset. I'm trying to stay outside of my comfort zone a little bit without getting over my head. What we have lined up for the year, and then the discussion about doing a talk in June. I'm really excited about. I'm a little nervous about. I'm not going to lie. It's a little outside my comfort zone of things I'm used to doing, but I'm looking forward to developing myself as a person this year.
Fantastic, Nick. I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank the FAWKS company not only for their continued support as a sponsor, as a corporate member, as a resource with Nick and family with company, but also previously legislatively without the FAWKS company, our state wouldn't be where it's at in how we engage with other outlet pharmaceuticals. And really, we thank you. We appreciate your engagement, your involvement, and I'm excited to see what kind of content we can develop over the course of the year, not only with these podcasts, but connecting you with members that are interested in displacing some of this liability that they may have on their shoulders and bringing on another teammate. We've talked about it in the past, but at the end of the day, sometimes it costs money to make money. You need to spend money to make money. And the reality is within our industry, we have a number of third-party resources, whether they come from a pharmaceutical side, a legal side, financial side, whether it's banking or CPAs. Our organization has a number of different individuals that can help you figure out the right pathway. And what I have to say personally in my interactions with Nick is that he's here for the right reasons, and his mission, as he said, aligns with CASCA's. So, as a member, I highly suggest taking advantage of his time. Whether at the end of the day you end up working with him or not, that's for the two of you to determine. But at the end of the day, he is a wealth of knowledge. He is a resource. He is a corporate member. and supports our industry. So, Nick, thank you again. And we look forward to seeing what happens in the near future.
All right. Thank you.